Attention all camels, it is your day, the one day each week you can proudly display your humps because it is hump day. Wednesday, the 9th of July it is. What happened to the first 8 days of this month? I want to know where they went. Suddenly there was the 4th of July and then I skipped a bunch. It's the 9th. My God. We're already 2 weeks into the season when the days are getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. Good morning, I'm Rayford Brown trying to stay somewhat nice today. But no guarantees.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
Who?
Mm-hmm. I was waiting for that.
I'm Lee Darrells.
And I'm the donkey man. We in the house.
We in the house. You got that right.
Off again today.
Wow. How about that? Kelly, you're back. You're back in the seat. Good morning.
I'm back.
Yeah, welcome. You're looking fine.
Thank you.
Yep.
Right.
She got her
Got everything resolved.
She got her hooker red lipstick on. She's ready to go.
Ready
She's gonna
for-
whip
ready for the
somebody's
day.
hind end
Yeah.
today.
Ready.
I don't know what a hooker red lipstick looks like.
Huh? Right.
Look on my
How do
lips.
you know it is hooker red?
Well, there's many kinds of red, but
I
my
know what he's
mama-
talking about.
Yeah, my mama used to. That was her favorite lipstick, that
Mhm.
bright red lipstick,
Mhm.
and I was about years old, and we were going to town.
Uh-huh.
And she talking about my red lipstick. And I said, well, it looks like hooker red to me, and I got a right hand right across.
I bet
my
you did.
I did.
Uh-huh.
But that's what I
Did
call
you,
I
it.
know
did
what
you
you
say
call
that
it.
again?
No, not her face anyway.
He might have said it behind her back, but he wasn't going to say it
Yeah,
to her.
but yeah, that made her mad. She
Look
said
at
it's victory red. Can you
It's what?
look at victory red is what she
Victory
said.
Victory red. Oh.
Yeah, my brother tried to come out an ambulance one time. It was red. He was sitting there talking about, yeah, it's called victory red. I said, it's the most victory red, hooker red I've ever seen in my life.
Mhm.
He got hot.
Probably Victoria,
Yeah.
not Victor.
Yeah.
Victoria.
Yeah. That was a movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back about 199 years ago today.
How many?
199.
Okay. What
On this
happened?
day 199 years ago.
199 years ago. Well, there was a little town out there in California called Yerba Buena. And an American guy, he's a sea captain, he decided, I'm going to take over that town, kind of like a pirate.
Oh, okay.
So he did.
All right.
Europeans did not encounter the spectacular San Francisco Bay until 1769, but on this date, 199 years ago, we took that little town called Yerba Buena and renamed it San Francisco, and it now belongs to the United States of America. We stole it from Mexico. We sold it. I think we ought to give it back. Now, there's a reason that we probably stole it, because we had an advanced party that knew all about it, because 3 years later there was the 1849 gold rush. Everybody went west. Go west, young man. And where did they go? San Francisco. So, and that's my story. That's the way I look at it. True or not true, I don't know. Facts are, we took it away 199 years ago today. If my
Interesting.
math is right.
Very interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. Okie dokie. We're going to give a rundown, the part that you can give.
Still run down. Oh, you mean? What do you mean?
You give us a rundown. Are you doing okay?
Doing fair.
Fair?
Yeah.
On the road to recovery?
Trying to be. Yep.
In other words, Robin's still holding you back.
There's a lot. No, it's not Robin.
Oh, it's not Robin?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. No. Little thing called lupus wants to.
Oh, no.
It's a battle.
Really?
Trying to
my
get the
goodness
best
gracious.
of me.
It's a
Oh,
mess. Lupus is tough.
Yeah, it's his.
I feel for you, girl.
Yeah. So
you need to slap that right between the eyeballs.
tell you what, it's a battle of wills. Let me tell you.
You can
It's
do
just
it.
on anybody.
We can get you some wheels to help you out. We'll be glad to help you out with that
Yeah.
one. Whoop up on it really, really good.
Yep.
Lots been going on. I'm sure you've been glued because you didn't have a whole lot else you could do
Mm-hmm.
to computers and TVs and stuff like that.
True
Did
that.
you break any screens or did you lay a
Well,
cussing on anything?
In addition to having that, I had pink eye.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that'll put you out. Like you couldn't see the medicine they gave me. I couldn't see what it's like a gel.
Right.
They need to come up with something better.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to fight whoever invented that antibiotic. I'm going to tell you. It is awful.
But it worked.
eventually, it was
Well,
starting to
that's-
look like it wasn't going
Takes a
to.
while.
Oh, it was. that was a
Antibiotics
hot
don't work
mess.
overnight necessarily.
Well, this was like
Well,
almost 2 weeks. It's
I-
terrible.
It seemed to me would have invented some kind of a shot by now, because the shot will start working.
A vaccine.
Do something because it's like
Another
goes on like
vaccine.
Neosporin and it's thick
Yeah.
and you have to put it in your eye and it's just gross and then you can't see. It's a mess.
When you put it in, you squeeze it down
And
inside.
make like a fine ribbon line
Right.
is what I was
A what?
told. A fine ribbon line. I don't like putting anything. That's why I could never wear contacts because I can't put anything in my eye. This was an experiment, let me tell you.
Well,
That was your
I
first
wearing
time.
hard contact
Yeah.
lenses from the time I was 12 years of age on for the longest time. If you're an active, rowdy,
Mhm.
that's what it means, boy,
Yeah.
teenager,
Yeah.
you're going to do bad things to your eyes with hard contact lenses in them. First of all,
Yeah.
we launched search parties in this backyard. I can't tell you how many times to locate.
Oh, contact.
My dad came up with a grid plan to begin with. Once, it's gone. Where is it? Well, first of all, you got to get somebody to look down, over part, put your eyeball apart, see if it's got lodged down somewhere, up or down.
Mhm.
Then he launches the grid search. He took 6-foot rule, the folding rules.
What the hell?
Yes,
Y'all-
God.
That was me.
Oh, thank God. Okay. I'm hearing bells.
Yes, God.
Avon
Okay.
calling.
And
Sounds
then-
like
and then
angel
he would
chimes.
do 1-foot squares and he would lay it out in the yard area where the suspect area was. And then as we would approach,
How would you find it?
as
There's
we
no
approach
way.
nightfall, you take a flashlight and shine it across each one of the grids and it will shine back at you.
No way.
Oh yeah.
Are you serious? Are you making this up?
No, I am not.
This is real?
We have looked for so many contact lenses. Then, of course, we had to take it to the doctor to make sure there was nothing chipped or anything because you didn't want to put it back in your eyeball.
Oh, that's way too much
I
work.
wore
right
the
there.
soft lenses for many
But they didn't
years.
have the soft.
Yeah,
lenses.
and
no, back
they
in
were
the
so
day.
easy.
No.
My mama had them.
And
She
then
didn't
you
wear 'em.
scratched your eye.
Mhm.
Not yet, but when you scratched your eye,
Oh, yes.
usually because you wore the blame things way too long at a
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you got to that. There's nothing like a fire in your eye.
Trust me.
Yes.
I understand that feeling.
So you go and the doctor calls in the prescription, and I go get it, and you take it. You go all patched up like this to go get it,
Uh-huh.
and then you take it. And it's a gel, like you're talking about, and then you look up and pull the thing down, and you line it there. Then you close your eye completely, hold it there, and put a patch with a glob or something over it to keep your eyeball from moving.
See, I never had any of that. I just had
Because you weren't a boy.
regular
Yes.
medicated drops.
If you, because if your eyeball moves while it's got this tear, little tiny micros,
Right.
very tiny,
It could be an issue.
it could just rub rub it raw, make it raw, and it doesn't heal.
I can't imagine how that would feel. Cause
But the good thing is the eye actually heals in 24 hours if you keep it immobile.
well, let me tell you, that might be a true statement or something like that.
That's
But to heal to get something like this out, it takes
it's like
forever.
you had it
It's the
infected.
second fastest organ in your body that heals.
That
Second
is awesome.
fastest. The tongue is the fastest.
I believe that because when you bite your tongue,
Oh,
it
good.
hurts initially and then it kind of goes away. So I believe that.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I think I got this from a client. I hadn't
Have
had
you-
pink
have you
eye since I
fired
was
that
like
client?
a kid.
You need a shield in the room.
I need like one of those like the Pope Mobile had that
That's what I'm
little
talking about.
thing because I hadn't had this. I'm 56 since maybe I was like 8. This was brutal. Like it burned.
Well,
I don't like my eyes
if you got
burning.
another 48 years without having it again, you'll be okay, right?
I tell you what, no joke.
I've never had the pink eye, but I know
I'm
a
gonna
lot of
tell you
people
what,
have.
it is
I don't know-
terrible.
I don't know what causes it, and I don't.
Well,
But I've been lucky.
the doctor said it was one of the most highly contagious things there is.
Yeah.
She said that's why if a kid they can't come to school, touch it. And she said you can get it just from touching something that's because when your eye burns, your instinct is to rub it. And
Yeah.
she said that's how it spread. A lot of times people touch their eye and then they touch something. I mean, I don't know, but I tell you what, I don't want to. That was awful. And the gel, the treatment, I think is worse than it's like Neosporin in your eye. So
Well,
don't recommend it.
that's what the little gel was in mine. It wasn't really, I don't think, to heal it. It was just to keep it moist and to keep it from catching anything. So
I don't know
Them
about
hard contacts were terrible.
They were
Thank goodness
They
I
were,
don't
they were
need
not meant
those.
for little boys, I will tell
Yeah.
you that. I was the youngest person to ever get it in Onslow County.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was 12 years of age. Dr.
I had-
Ketson.
The soft
Hook me up.
ones, and I
These-
had colored ones. Mine were sapphire blue.
Oh boy, that's when she was. That's when
Lady
she was
Blue.
trolling,
Yeah,
right?
they were pretty.
And
They
she
were
could take them
pretty.
out, and she's out. Well, she had brown eyes. No, that's not her then.
I went from being a brunette to a blonde, and then I had blue contacts, and nobody recognized
She was
me.
changing her appearance.
It was great.
She was
Who
hiding
you
her
hiding from?
appearance. She
Yeah,
was
who you
deceiving
hiding from?
somebody.
Yeah.
It's just fun being somebody else.
She just
for a while.
wants to see blondes had more fun.
Let's,
It's not true.
you're not. Why? What'd you do wrong?
I don't think there's any truth into blondes have more fun. It's what you make out of it.
We've had a whole lot of talk, and we do this a lot about bad people, how
Yes.
the bad people around this world affect, infect, and aggravate the rest of us, right? We really should make sure that good people are recognized when it comes to light. Not at the end of a newscast or a talk show where quite often, oh, we got a little filler time here. We need to, and then we bring out something. There are plenty of idiots to go around. We can find those all day long, every day, right? Every hour of every day.
Abundant.
We could do it for 36 hours if they had 36 hours in one day, no problem. They normally hog the limelight too, don't they? Think about it. Last Saturday, on a weekend outing with his girlfriend and her two pre-teenage nephews, 51-year-old Jeff Brady died, saving those two boys from drowning. The boys, ages 10 and 12, got caught in a strong current while playing on a sandbar in the Colorado River
What?
near Hidden Shores Resort in Yuma, Arizona. Without hesitation, Brady hit the water, reached the two boys, and kept them afloat until help arrived on scene. Exhausted, he slipped below the surface and did not come up again. Divers recovered his body a little later. Except in the immediate area of Yuma, perhaps in his hometown of San Diego, he had moved from San Diego to Yuma just before this, the story will get a mention or two. Usually as a filler in this world where bad guys make news, where only fans sluts getting divorces earns them several days worth of headline news across the country. Heroes like Brady, like our military, like our first responders, their stories, they don't sell papers, as the old saying goes.
There's a whole bunch of stories like that
Yep, there
out
are.
there, but they get ignored and
Sure.
yeah,
why not?
because news media would
So,
rather
So I'm when I find those, I'm going to lead off with those from now on.
yeah. You know what? That's nice.
I read that yesterday.
That is very nice.
Then we can go to the scum of the earth. We got plenty to go around. If y'all are missing some scum, give us a call or just listen in. We'll tell you all about them. You ready? Former CIA Director John Brennan and former FBI Director James Comey
Oh, what a story.
under criminal investigation officially for potential wrongdoing related to the Trump-Russia probe, including making false statements they claim to Congress. Justice
Oops.
Department officials told Fox News that overnight. CIA Director John Ratcliffe, the one who's the director today, he's referred evidence of wrongdoing by Brennan to FBI Director Kash Patel for possible prosecution. That's going to be fun. DOJ sources declined to provide further details. It's unclear at this point if the investigation spans beyond what sources say were his false statements to Congress. False statements. 2 words when lies would serve. Why use 2 words? False statements. No, they were lies. As for Comey, DOJ sources say that an investigation into the former director is underway, but could not share details of what specifically is being probed. I can tell you what's going to be probed.
I thought it was Russia, the Russia thing.
That's just part of it with Comey.
What else you think will be probed? Hillary's laptop.
That's part of it.
Okay.
That's going to be part of
Tell
it.
you
There's not a doubt there, but there's going to be some more that's going to be probed. The full scope of the criminal investigations into Brennan and Comey unclear. 2 sources describe the FBI's view of the duo's interactions as a conspiracy. These 2 guys are working together. First time in history that anybody in the CIA has worked with the FBI.
Well, that's
and
true.
They did it for bad things,
Yeah.
if it's true. Talk about opening up a keg of worms. Pandora's box.
Mhm.
Oh, my Lord, Pandora, she will be freed up. And
Mhm.
you know what happens when Pandora comes calling? Neither the FBI nor the CIA are officially commenting. Well, I don't blame them.
Well, maybe we shouldn't have been sitting on the beach and arranging seashells to bring attention to ourselves.
Well, that's, yeah.
Y'all are stupid. You know, when you do things, you ever talk about them, you ever post anything on Facebook or social media?
Oh, I see
You
that
know,
every
why
day.
don't you just reach over there and find a wall and beat your head against it? A brick wall would be preferable, because you're just dumb. Get yourself a first aid kit and beat your head against the wall.
Yeah, I agree with that. But
Because,
That'll rattle your brains.
yeah, if you got any left, it will for sure.
well, I've got a Russia story.
Oh,
You know, I'm always on the Russia death
Russia,
watch.
Russia.
I know you are.
We got another one.
Okay.
Just you cannot.
Are they
There's
coming
no
to get?
way people believe
Are they
this.
coming to get us?
So Russia had a transport minister. I don't know what that means, but his name is Roman Starovoit. Putin fired him Monday.
Has
Okay.
he been seen since?
Yes, he was found dead by quote suicide. Dead by suicide
I
a couple of hours
I would have
after.
put money on
That's what
that
I'm
one.
saying. Like, no way does anybody remotely think this guy killed himself. I mean, if they do,
He had that beating his head against the wall
well, when the reporters wanted to know why he was fired, the
because he was
Kremlin,
suicidal. I mean,
the
we can have
Kremlin
him on staff.
spokesperson wouldn't tell them. And they said, we heard rumors it was due to a lack of trust. And he's like, that's not true. Well, you fired him for something, but who knows what. But they're like, we are shocked that hours after he was fired, he died. Yeah, what? Okay.
I'm trying to find out what Russian reporter would be asking Putin's people
Yeah,
why the guy was fired.
they sure did.
Have you seen the reporters lately?
I want to know who, you know, that's a good question. Yeah.
I would send him a letter and ask him
Oh,
if
it
he
gets
wants
better.
to use an assumed name.
His body was found inside a car in some suburb of Moscow.
300
Okay.
feet of water. But
He was found with a gunshot wound.
in the
Yeah.
back of the head?
It just
Self-inflicted
says
in the
the
back of the head.
circumstances of his death was being investigated, but the main theory is suicide. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Name me one cabinet member from that place that is still alive, that he's either gotten rid of or threatened to. Not a single one. They're usually falling downstairs or out of windows.
Yeah.
So they've stepped up their game a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they felt like the gunshot wound is more plausible that we can get away with. If I were a Russian and I was asked to join his staff, I would make every excuse why I could not, for the reason that I would want to live. I mean, seriously.
I don't think I'm of good quality for you.
Yeah.
I just don't think I could be trusted. I just don't, I just don't feel like I could serve you
Yeah.
very well, sir.
Yeah.
So I would beg to be excused from this appointment.
I'll support you behind the scenes, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to be on your
Well,
staff.
he
I'd
just
be-
said, I feel the need for retirement.
Mhm.
No. We were
know?
the way
No,
we were
'cause
trying to
look how they
is-
handle retirement. Like,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, though. But
you fall downstairs, you go out a window, now you're a gunshot wound.
don't think it hasn't happened here.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because back in 1970, maybe 80, there was a guy. He was running for sheriff of New Hanover County. He was the nominee, so waiting for the election. So, and he would have been elected. His hands down thing. But he was the chief of detectives during this period of time while he was awaiting the general election. And there was a call about a man found dead in a wooded area. And the man was the guy that was in charge of the KKK in New Hanover County.
Oh,
Okay, his name was Tex Gross.
Tex
Had a
Gross.
perfect name.
Gross.
But anyway,
Gross.
Tex Gross also, as it turned out, liked little boys.
Oh, gross.
Oh, yeah. And now you know why his name was Gross.
Right.
So Tex was found in the wooded area. He'd been shot. And I went out there, and of course, I knew the chief of detectives. he became sheriff a little bit later on. But anyway, I asked him because I was doing the official thing. Yeah. With the mic in his face, could you, what happened here? It's well, there's gunshot wound, and we haven't ruled out suicide, and yada yada yada. And I said, Chief, let me ask you this. Now you know I ask questions that I have answers to. I said, did you find a gun anywhere nearby? No. We're looking for the gun. Where was he shot? In the head. Specifically, where in the head? In the back of the head. I said, well, Sheriff, I can assist you. Or Chief, I can assist you with this. I would rule out suicide right now and start looking for somebody.
Yeah.
If you don't think that, my comment did not go on the air, but the rest of it did. And you're like, holy moly, before the days of social media, our phones lit up.
I bet they do.
Mm-hmm.
Ding, 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 ding.
Really? He was shot in the back of the head and there was no gun at the scene and they haven't ruled out suicide. Really?
Oh my.
It was kind of funny. After he was elected, he and I became pretty good friends, and it was right funny when we talked about it. He was nervous. He was nervous about the election and everything else, but he wanted to be as official as possible at the time. So he's turned out to be a really great sheriff too. So okie dokie. It's kind of warm out in the area. Out there at the borough this morning. At the borough was 80 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
A little after 6 o'clock this morning. No rain anywhere. Southwest area, it was 76 degrees at the same time. Here, it was 75 at the time. Over there in River Bend area, it was about 76, 77 at the same time. It is muggy out there, y'all. The wind's not blowing yet. It probably will kick up a little bit. And thanks to our folks there, the live and local weather spotters from the Onslow Amateur Radio Club, who all get on the air in the mornings early, and
yes, they do.
Shoot the breeze. You thought I was going to say something else, didn't you?
No, not on there.
A series of upper-level systems will be pushing across our area, bringing unsettled weather through the rest of the week, like we haven't had enough of that already, right? What it means for the marine forecast as we move into the second half of the week, out to 20 nautical miles a day, southwesterly winds 15 knots, seas 3 to 4 feet every 5 seconds, getting closer together. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Tomorrow, southwesterly winds 3 to 4 foot waves, winds kind of light 10 to 15, sounds and rivers still a moderate chop. Friday, southwesterly winds, now they're going to start to kick up just a wee bit, 15 to 20 knots, kicking up seas too, 4 to 5 feet. Sounds and rivers choppy, increasing chance of showers as we progress through the week, and there is a possibility of a thunderstorm or two as we move on.
Well, today, mostly sunny, high of 90. Winds from the south, 6 to 14 miles an hour, but 22-mile-an-hour gusts. This is going to be a hot breeze. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 75. Tomorrow, it starts to get interesting. That's the way I'd say it. Showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny otherwise, a high of 88. 70% chance of rain tomorrow. Tomorrow night, more the same, mostly cloudy in between, low of 74, 60% chance. On Friday, showers and thunderstorms, high of 88, 80% chance of rain. Friday night, more of the same, low of 74. Saturday, showers and thunderstorms, mainly after 2 o'clock with a otherwise mostly cloudy, high of 89 and 70% chance. What is Sunday starting to look like? Sunday we're down to 50%. So looks like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, rough. And then Sunday, meh.
Back in 2016, a case involving a fairly well-known Jacksonville area man, Onslow County man, Gary Morton.
Yes.
It's a tragic story. 66 years old at the time. He was reported missing, and his residence had been broken into. His roommate at the time reported that, and it happened on Wellington Road. It's a nice home out there, located off Old 30. While the report was being taken, even while deputies were taking the missing persons report and the break-in at the home, other deputies responded to a call for service where neighbors stated they saw 2 individuals going into an abandoned residence located at Cypress Court, that's in the Gum Branch area. The deputies responded as search of the abandoned residence at the time. They found some property that belonged to Morton that was apparently taken from his house. A missing persons investigation initiated. Investigation into Morton's disappearance conducted. They found Morton's SUV abandoned and burned on a wooded road in a rural area of the southwest part of Onslow County, quite some distance away from his home. Morton's body was found a couple of days later. It had been concealed on his property. There's a pond there.
Yeah.
And an autopsy confirmed Morton died from a homicide and was the result of a gunshot wound or multiple wounds.
Horrible.
There have been strong leads in the case over the years. That's been 9 years ago now, almost. And a lot of people have been identified as possibilities. Numerous interviews have been conducted. More information is still needed before any arrest can be made. So one of the things here, it would be great if you guys, we, the people of Onslow County, with any information, regardless of how little credibility you put in that information, if it's information, contact the sheriff's office, 910-455-3113, or you can contact Crime Stoppers of Onslow County. Any information will be good. They're running down leads. You may have that little final thread to tie this thing up.
Boy, they're updating all their code cases today.
Call Crime Stoppers if you don't want to be identified. You can do it anonymously. 910-938-3273. That's 910-938-3273. You can refer to a case number if you want to, or you can just put Gary Morton in it. You can contact the sheriff's office direct at the gentleman who's handling the cold case, Captain Evans. He's at 910-989-4010, 989-4010. And Crime Stoppers, if you call them, they offer rewards, cash reward, up to $2,500 for information deemed of value to help the cops figure this one out. This has gone on too long. It's 8.5 years in the making. It disappeared on December 8th of 2016.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to see.
This one needs to be, somebody needs to be arrested. This needs to be solved. Morton owned several rental properties in the Jacksonville area. He's a realtor for many years.
Yes.
And his tenants have given accounts of his generosity and helping families in acquiring adequate housing. I mean, this is a good guy. This is one of the good people out there.
He started off each day going to Helen's Kitchen.
Yep. He did that day. His dog was also missing for some time. I think they found the dog.
Speaking of pets, Rayford, speaking of pets, something nice if you want to attend today, Jacksonville Fire Department on Marine Boulevard is receiving at 1:00 today from Jacksonville Veterinarian Services, Dr. Thomas. They are receiving a large donation of pet oxygen mask kits.
I love it.
From
That's
the
awesome.
veterinarian's office.
That is a wonderful story.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
That makes me happy to hear.
And it's like Dr. Thomas said, pets or family.
Heck yeah, they
They
are.
go.
And they're honored to support the Jacksonville Fire Services and ensure they have the tools necessary to help animals in their greatest time of need.
Here for
So
I got to say welcome
thank
home.
you, Dr. Thomas.
I got to say welcome home and thank God to my wife too. She's here.
Oh, I know.
She's been helping her sister who had some
I
medical
know.
issues. But she got home yesterday.
I drove in this morning, saw her car, said, Robbie's home, yay.
You yay, I'm yay. The
Oh, I bet
critters
you.
went crazy.
But they were.
So after Dr. Rose calls, I'm going to ask you about the grocery shopping you did yesterday. And did you make Robbie a lovely dinner? Welcome home.
Yeah.
We'll talk about your
Corn flakes are good, right?
Frosted flakes are better.
Frosted flakes?
Yeah,
I just wanted
you
to
and
know-
I'm not supposed to eat them, but yeah.
I just want to
Why
know
not?
if she had real or imitation
I don't have
lobster
the
for
diabetes,
dinner.
man.
You still don't need to do it at your age.
We're going to talk about this imitation stuff in just a minute.
Yeah.
That was
funny.
while I was shopping.
Yes.
I've been, my brain is always working, and sometimes it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to see a picture of what I saw that just stood out from all of the items in a big grocery store, and I wasn't even shopping for this stuff, I was browsing. But I saw this. Take a look at our Facebook page, and you'll see what caught my attention. Weird, just flat weird.
What is the truth of things?
And speaking of artificial intelligence and truth in advertising,
Here we go.
and truth in lending, some things are put out there right in your face, and you just ignore them anyway, don't you?
Yeah.
This package, I will stop if Dr. Rose calls in the middle of it, but this package that I looked at yesterday, it was a package of 4 gourmet. So it was listed 4 gourmet lobster cakes.
Yep.
Oh, and there she
And
is.
after Dr. Rose, I'll tell you what the last line on that was. How's that for timing? Did that work out well?
Yeah, it worked out well.
Dr. Rosemary Stein, good morning. How are you?
I am doing well. I hope you all had a good 4th.
When is that?
Well, Dr. Rose, we just want to know, are you okay? Is everyone okay after
Yeah.
this recent storm?
I was thinking
You
about you.
know, that tornado was actually a block away from our home.
Oh, Lord. Lord.
I happened to be looking at the news that day to see, if we were going to be able to open the clinic because it looked okay from where I was. And all of a sudden, I see something about a tornado, and it was in Snow Camp, and that's where we live. And I look at the picture, and I said, well, that's that building right behind the house.
Oh, that
Ooh.
used to be that building right behind the house.
So, yeah, it has no roof anymore. That
Oh, my.
mean old tornado came, tore the roof off, and threw it in the middle of the road.
Wow.
Holy moly. Oh, thank goodness it wasn't your house. And I hope nobody
Thank
was
goodness.
inside.
None of our
Nobody hurt, was there?
No, it doesn't seem like it. I haven't heard anything. The neighbors have said that that they didn't know that anybody was hurt. But it just went down our main road. Just picked up some trees, snapped them in half, some huge oaks too,
Mm.
and then took that building and played with it like it was tossing it around, and then disappeared.
You just never
Tornadoes
really
are pretty
know.
scary thing.
Yeah, they are. They come without notice.
That's right.
And we don't have a bunch of sirens hanging around to warn us of a potential danger, do we? Like ones on the ground.
No, we didn't even hear it or anything. We were just home and relaxing, and right behind our house, this is going on. It's kind of scary when you think about it.
That's one of the things too. We don't not in an area where there are lots of tornadoes, but anytime, folks, anytime there is a tropical anything storm coming our way, anything that has tropical attached to it, or severe thunderstorms coming our way in advance of or during, there's always the possibility of a tornado forming. Okay, so even if I can take care of this. This is nothing but a tropical storm. Well, it's tropical. There's a disturbance in the air, warm and cold disturbances in the air, as there is with the thunderstorms coming our way. And when there's such a violent change, a drastic change, there can be a violent outburst, and that's called a tornado. So y'all don't just blow that stuff off. If you got warnings of a possibility or a watch,
Right.
keep your eyes open and be prepared to have a plan of escape.
Well, Dr. Rose, how about the flooding?
Well, we don't live somewhere that the flooding affects us per se, but the staff, some of the staff lives in Mebane, and you could have seen that Mebane was one of the areas that was
Yes.
affected. So they had a lot of difficulty. They were fine. They had a lot of difficulty getting into work because all the paths to where the clinic is were closed. Now we know secondhand of one of the young men that passed away in the storm, and it tragic. Do not go through water when you're in a car. You see that water after a storm, you don't know how deep it is, and that's what he did. He was cleaning up and went through the water, and the car just was swept away, and it was found down the road with him in it and dead. So just teach the kids. Kids make decisions. They think, oh, it's just a little bit of standing water. It'll be fine. You don't know that at night and in a flood. You don't know that during the day either. But when they say there's been floods and they say don't go through standing water, they mean it.
Yeah, they said 3 of the 4 deaths from this storm were attributed to people traveling in their vehicles during the storm.
Either wrecks or running through running water. You don't do that.
But we thought about you, Dr. Rose.
Oh, yeah. There was some concerns up your neck of the woods.
We stayed put. Yeah, there's no reason for us to leave. They said, don't leave the house. Okay.
I'm a firm believer in that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, medically speaking, what's going on out there for the little kiddies? That is a time yet to start briefing them, preparing them, getting them ready for school, because it ain't that far away. You know that. Scary, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the kids shouldn't be allowed to just do nothing and wake up at 10 or 11 in the morning every day, because it's not good for their little bodies and their little minds. I hear so many of them, they're just so happy because they're waking up at all odd times of the day and going to sleep at peculiar times also.
Yeah.
But it's not good for kids' brains. You have to leave the structure in there. And so it's very important. If you want to have them ready for school, it's very important to leave some structure. That doesn't mean get them up at the crack of dawn, but at least you give them a time to wake up. And I would say that should be by 9:30 at the latest. During the summer, they're waking up at 11 and 12 and 1 o'clock, and I don't that's good. And so if you want to prepare them, give them the structure, make sure that you have tasks for them, a little bit of what would be considered schoolwork or classwork. Just reading a book and telling you about it would be fine, and writing a little essay or a book report on what they're reading and what they're doing, and just maybe having some a time where you go to one of your history museums or some sort of museum that's close to your house. But keep those little brains working, because it really is around the corner. It seems like you have a lot of time between now and the middle to the end of August.
No.
But you got to give them structure, and you got to give them things to think about, and you got to keep them ready so that they're prepared for the next school year.
I know that growing up and as a little kid, particularly, let's say from the 1st grade to about the 5th, did you have a particular bedtime that you could remember exactly what that bedtime was?
Oh, absolutely. 8:30. I had to be on my way to bed, and I had to be tucked in by 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys are about the same, right? In the summertime, by the time you came along, we had daylight savings time in the summertime, right? So it was dark a little bit. It got dark a little bit later.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the summertime, I remember that it was somewhere around 9:30, and on special occasions, I was allowed to go to bed at 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I still had my alarm clock was set, and instead of being 6:30, my alarm clock was set for 8 in the summer.
My alarm clock was my mom.
You
will get up.
Oh yeah, I'm so used to getting up early that even on Saturdays and Sundays I'm up at 5 o'clock.
So still, I do the same stupid thing, but that's why I'm like I am.
Stupid.
It's anyway. Mine was 8 o'clock for the first 2 years or 3 years of school, and then they moved to 8:30. But in the summertime, it was still the latest it got dark was 7:30, because we did not have a daylight savings time. It was all standard time in those days. So I went to bed early year round, and I got up early year round. It's 7 o'clock. If you're not up by 7, something's wrong. And you ever been in a house or lived in a house that had those shades that you pull down and you kind of lock them, kind of like the shades that I have in here? You remember those shades that if you let go at the wrong time, it would go.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, my mom would come in and raise those shades up by just ching around.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a wake-up call.
Wow.
But the idea was get up, have breakfast. We're not going to have brunch around these parts. We're going to have breakfast. And at noon, we're going to eat dinner. And then at 5 o'clock, we're going to eat supper. Then you can have your snack on your way to bed. That was the bottom line, and that's the way we did it.
Yeah, we just had a tobacco patch. We got up
Oh,
early.
you got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you waited too late to get that backy patch in the summertime, it was a mess.
Yeah.
Ugh. I would hate that.
Yeah, structure is gone from children's lives. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really nice for the parents who are listening in to bring it back, because those kids will do better than the rest of them if you keep that structure. They need walls. They need to know what their limits are. And when we think we're doing a nice thing by just letting them hang out, we're not, because
Nope.
we're setting them up in not a good way for the rest of their lives. They need structure.
What do you think about an afternoon nap for little kids in school or out, or particularly during the summertime? Is an afternoon nap a good thing, a bad thing, or just
I don't think
overrated?
it's a bad thing. It's once again, it has to have its limits.
like
Some
it.
parents might think that just letting them sleep if for 2 or 3 hours is a good idea, and it won't be, because the kid's not going to be able to go to sleep
Mhm.
at night. So just understand if they nap, there should be a limit
1 hour.
to that sleeping in the afternoon. It's called that an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's something
And
I
they'll feel
was.
refreshed. They'll get up and they'll be full of energy again.
Yeah.
But if they use a lot of their energy in the morning and early
They'll
afternoon,
sleep well.
you'll see them get a little tired. So that's not a bad idea to give them a nap.
Anything disease-wise that we need to be aware of? I know back to school, new parents or parents of the new school children, all sorts of vaccinations are in order. So hopefully there's a plan, right?
Yucky.
Oh, absolutely. Just make sure that you keep track of the schedule. Kids need their vaccines before going into kindergarten, once again before going into 6th grade, 7th grade, and then 11th grade.
And don't
And
forget
if they
those
don't have those
measles.
vaccines, by the time school starts, you're going to get a note within 2 weeks
Mhm.
saying that your kid can't go back to school. So make sure you're on top of that.
And measles vaccines, important, right? Again.
Yes, that's right. That's one of those childhood illnesses, and the vaccine comes right before kindergarten. So somewhere between 4 and it used to be 4 and 6,
Right.
but obviously because of going to kindergarten, it's by age 5.
Okay. Well, good. Hopefully everybody will do that. Have you seen anything, any trends or anything we've got going on we need to be concerned about with the kiddies?
Well, I didn't know if to bring it up, but we have had a couple of cases of COVID.
What? Summertime COVID?
Yep. I guess so. It's summertime anytime now.
Oh,
So we did have a couple of cases. The kids did well, but they had high fevers. They felt crummy, and little rest and staying home and staying away from others did them very well. They came back into the clinic a week or 2 after, and they were completely recuperated.
okay. Dr. Rose, thank you as always, and we will see you next week. Are you planning any vacations this summer?
No, I'm not. We're just doing what we do, tending to the kiddies and trying to relax on the weekend.
Okay, well, good. You take care, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Dr.
You guys
Rose.
take care, too.
Thank you, Dr. Rosemary Steiner. What a wonderful lady and well-rounded. She's not just considering, come in, let me give you kids some pills and do this and do that. It's a lot more involved in medical help. Kelly, I know that there's also mental health that goes along with this for the
Yes.
kids especially.
Yes.
And some of the issues that are out there, parents need to be talking with their kids before they get into school, because we know that things are going to go awry we're not there to protect them when they're not with us, right?
Correct.
So what would you tell? I mean, I know it's been a while since you were a mom raising a little kid, but you've got some
I
grandchildren.
got my grandson.
Yeah, you got a
Yeah.
grandson out there,
Yeah.
and so there are obviously things that people need to be aware of, right?
Yes, and I think just in general, I still maintain one of the best things any parents about anything can ever do is actually legitimately talk to their kids
About anything in
About
particular, or about
anything.
everything.
and not only to talk to the kids, to listen to their kids.
Okay.
Listening matters.
Yeah, it does matter.
Mhm.
I totally agree. And Lee, you say we have a caller?
It should be Kyle.
It is.
Hey, Kyle, what's up?
Can you hear me?
How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Awesome. Hey, good morning, Mr. Roser, Miss Lee, Miss Kelly, and Mr. Donkey Man.
Yes.
I'm calling you from the great state of Washington, Olympia, my hometown here.
Oh, can you run on down to Seattle for me and get me some stuff from Pike's Market and ship it out? I love those Dungeness crabs, okay?
Yeah, and they throw that salmon around, but we get better fish out there in North Carolina.
Okay.
But
We don't get any Dungeness crabs, though.
no, we don't. Yeah. So I live out in Southwest. We get the little blues, but yeah, the Dungies are big and plentiful out here. We don't get, but so I'm right at the base. If you know how Washington State looks, you kind of do your left hand and hold your thumb up. Olympia is right at the base between your.
Oh, yeah. I know where it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but wanted to comment on what Dr. Rosemary Stein said about getting out in historical museums. If you ever get a chance to go to Oklahoma City, the Cowboy and Western Museum is right just north of there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's amazing. But on top of that, I'm out here. This is where I grew up. But what I wanted to ask you, sir, and Miss Lee, Miss Kelly, Mr. Donkey Man, is when you have a chance to get together with your friends in your hometown, what would be your optimum thing to hang out and do?
Friends in my hometown.
We just sit back and talk about the good old days. When
We
we
lie a lot.
we talk about how much liquor we can drink and how many women we can chase, and now we talk about what kind of pill we have to take to stay alive.
There's a whole lot of
Yeah,
that
it's
going
about-
around.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, but no, we
don't
But
got that extra leg we have to take care of.
you know, if you talk about some people from my child, first of all, I did not have a lot of really good friends when I was in high school. That was, I had family more than I had friends from school because we lived, even though we were in the Jacksonville High School district, I saw them at school. I did not see them after school. Not that many kids of my age lived in this neighborhood. There were a few that were, a bike ride away, like a mile and a half or 2 miles, but that was about the closest high school type friends that I had when I was growing up. But I had family. I had cousins. I had lots of cousins, and they were my friends, and that's what we did. We were always together, and we did a whole lot of things as families together. So yeah, we had a lot to discuss. Still do.
Yeah. So what I'm coming into is we went out of Jacksonville. We did the layover in Charlotte. Got in here late last night to Seattle, and then drove down in Olympia. But I've got on one hand my closest friends, and you can blow a couple fingers off, and they're still the same friends. And so one's coming in from Arizona today. The other two of the four of us are here in this area. and we're going to go bounce around and reminisce. But what is it that you talk about? I mean, what are those experiences? And again, from Miss Kelly, Miss Lee, and Mr. Donkerman, what does that look like? What does that feel like if you were in my position?
What would you be talking about with your friends from your childhood?
Well, I'm still friends with friends from my childhood. Two of them I talk to weekly. A lot of times we talk about the things we did that would probably get people arrested nowadays.
Man, what's
First of all, so there's that. Yes. Yeah, that. We talk about things we did our parents never knew about. Well, that would have been one of them. We talked about things that
Does she know about it now?
everybody knows about it now.
Okay.
Yeah. We talk about things like things that as adults we realize weren't what we thought when we were kids, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, like, and we talked about, like, matter of fact, I had a conversation with one of my closest friends. We're actually a week apart, grew up on the same street. I'm 1 week older than her to the day, like 7 days. We talked about bullies in school when we were young.
You had them back then?
Yeah, we had them back then, that kind of thing. And to answer your question about where we go, a lot of times we go like restaurants, because see, I'm from 4 hours from Jacksonville, so I go there. Well, sometimes they'll come down here, or we'll switch off. I'll go there, but usually food is involved because we're eaters.
Food is always involved.
Food is involved.
Yeah, I'm a big foodie.
Yeah, I like food is good. We like food. And then sometimes we do travel, but we haven't done that in a while. That gets us in trouble. But yeah, so we do that kind of, we just, a lot of reminiscing, and then a lot of, can you believe, that's come up a lot. How did we survive?
Can you believe it?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, with your profession, I mean, you've got the insight. So, do you analyze your friends at this point? I mean,
no, mainly because I've known them my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah, and we think a lot alike. I think that's probably why we've literally been friends for 56 years. So I really don't. Now, I can't say that, and they know this because they've asked my opinion. I have analyzed some of the decisions, one of them in particular has made in the past, had not always had the best decision making.
Have anything to do with their choice of spouses?
Yes.
Why did I know that?
Yes. So,
that come up.
yeah.
well, I know Mr. Rayford. He analyzes everybody every time he sees anybody.
He does.
So,
He
You
does.
do a background check on
He does. He does background checks. And
Y'all haven't seen me do that.
I
do
have
more about me
witnessed
than
that
I do.
many a time. Yes.
yeah.
He knows more about me than I know about myself.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's right. That's the detective in him.
Mr. Donkeyman, I mean, you've got a history, and you've got a lot of stuff in what you've done growing up. Tell me about you and what you do with your friends, your close friends.
Oh, we sit around and talk about working because we worked. We were raised around tobacco farms.
Sure.
And we crop tobacco.
When you
and
do
put
that
it in
every year,
Yeah.
that is a memory that will stay with you forever.
because when
And I'm sure your fingers are still stained.
well, I mean, when I was young, we'd get up during the second crop, and we'd get up at 3:00 in the morning, take out 2 barns of tobacco, put them in the pack house, eat breakfast, and then go out and start cropping. And we come in about 11.
And then the day starts.
Yeah, well, yeah. And then when you went home, we didn't get in trouble. We were too tired. And I say that now, what North Carolina needs is about 500 acres of tobacco. And every time a juvenile gets in trouble, instead of reprimanding, stick them out there in that tobacco batch, sun up, sun down, and they'll get a value that you won't never see. But we talk about the drinking we did, and the partying, and the racing. We used to race our trucks and cars, and we would do some things. And hey, y'all watch this. And I was always labeled the crazy one in the crowd because I tried. Let's see how it works. And we just sit back and talk and have a good time. They kind of surprised at me because I don't drink anywhere but at home. Now I have a commercial driver's license in my pocket, and that's my livelihood. And if we go out to parties, I'm the DD. I mean, I'll carry you
Yep.
home. I'll let my wife drink, but I drink my bourbon when I get home and I'm not going anywhere. I'll take a drink of bourbon and I'm not going to drive again. I'm that adamant about it. I mean, but it's just, I take care of donkeys. People ask me a lot of questions about donkeys and horses, and I work, I've given them remedies. I mean, Rayford's a good example right there.
Oh,
I've
God,
given
yes,
him
I
some
use a lot of it.
remedies, and it's just stuff like that. They ask me
Some of it
medical
is to kill
questions.
things,
Yeah.
trust me. That's weeds out here in the
Yeah.
yard. He's got some special formulas for that.
Yeah, I mean,
And I use them. I got it, and it's under lock and key because it's
Yeah.
so it's a mess you got to mix together, and whew, watch
it
out.
works, and it's just that's what I do. I mean, just like I met Kelly and AC and fell in. I love her husband to death, and he is one of the greatest comedians that the good Lord's ever put on this earth.
But he
And
doesn't
I
try
sit
to be.
and he doesn't try. And I do a lot of comedy stuff, and I'm a simple guy. I'm a problem solver, and I'll simplify it. And a lot of people ask me, but it's mostly about animals. They ask me questions about the horses and donkeys and some of them donkeys. I'm the jackass kid, but
Ours is kind of a parallel in some of the things he said. Yes, I deal with jackasses regularly. I mean, I have all my life. I deal with all sorts of animals that have to be educated. So many of them have two legs. I deal with some of the same things that he does, and then some things have to be killed.
Yeah.
Weeds.
Well, yep, and that's happened. Yep.
I do a lot of that too, but now I'm not up to date on all the weed killers. I just know what used to work for me, and I pass
The
it
weeds
along.
don't know the difference.
No.
It works today.
You have to have a license to get a lot of that stuff now, and I don't. I just
Don't
still
tell
get
me.
stuff. None of yours is.
Okay.
Yeah, yours is fine.
God. I mean,
I would hate.
We
to
got
get
some
caught.
deputies out there listening,
because
you know.
I don't have a license to buy some of that stuff.
Then don't
and I
talk about
buy
it.
Well, no, I mean
God,
you have to have an applicator's license, and you have to have to buy certain chemicals, and they work. But I still use what used to be. I had to have a license for 25 years ago. It's over the counter.
oh yeah, how that
So
works.
it's
Okay, you got to ask Lee now because I know she has some. Oh,
I
she can hear.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
He's gonna let me borrow this for a minute.
Miss Lee, your favorite thing to do if you were to get together with your high school friends.
Oh gosh,
Cook.
that's hard to say because we generally get together once a month anyway, and we go to lunch, and we have
Okay, sure.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No problem. Yeah, we pretty much get together, a group of us once a month, and we invite everyone from our class year to come out and join us. And some months we have a large group, some months we have a smaller group, and we keep in touch. So there's nothing really other than that I could say at the moment.
All right, Kyle. So I know you've asked these
Thank
questions now. So real quick, what do? You flew out to Olympia
Yes, sir.
and you found some beer.
Oh, that's not even
No,
good.
I'm gonna find some beer. I'm on. My voice is cracked because this is the airline with the air. It blow into those damn cabins.
Yeah.
So I've been dried out since last night and whatever.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So, but I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get a milkshake. So Eastside Big Tom's milkshake and burgers and fries, and that's gonna be and donuts this morning.
Okay.
The sun is just coming up here.
Okay. Well, good. So that'll be fun. You're going to meet some friends from yesteryear.
Yep.
And what are you guys going to do? Anything that's going to get you arrested?
No.
Oh, he hesitated way too long on that one.
Yeah. So one of the guys is he's a detective in the city up north. So I think
So you're bringing your designated detective with you to keep you out of trouble. I understand how that works. Kelly does too. She laughed.
Yeah.
I know
You know
exactly how
how
that works.
it works.
Be sure to bring his badge.
Well, yeah, he always has his badge. And yeah, so sun's coming up over here, and I apologize, my voice is crackling because it's funny how that air in 4.5 hours in
It will do it. Yep.
a tube dries you out, and it's funny because I got off the plane and I was, not to sound gross, but like cleaning out my nose, and
Yeah.
it was just like all dried out.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, now
it
the one
cold?
thing is when you landed, were all the parts still on the plane that you started with?
All my parts were.
Not your parts. I'm talking the plane
Plain
parts.
parts.
Somebody's
I
still
think
looking
so.
for.
I think so, but I wasn't on inventory.
I would have taken an inventory when I took off and an inventory when I landed.
Is it cold up there?
Yeah. Not so much. It's going to be. I think we're about 70 right now.
Nice.
That's cold.
So just so you guys know, look at Sylvester Park, Olympia, Washington, and I'm looking over that right now.
Okay.
And yeah, so the original capital of the state of Washington is right here in across from Sylvester Park.
Yeah, I have a sister that lives in Washington.
And I apologize too. I had emergency braces put on a week and a half ago. I took a knee to the mouth playing backyard football a week and a half ago.
You need to grow up, okay, Kyle? There's a time and a place for everything, and it was all yesteryear.
Well, you know what happens when you look like you too, because you're fit and strong.
Who?
You want to get out there and do it. So I think you can do it too.
Yeah, buddy. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I did, and then I got.
And now you're paying for it
Yes,
twice. Once at the
Yeah.
dentist and once for the next 6 weeks.
Well, 6 weeks until they check the alignment, and then the oral surgeon's gonna be like, we'll figure out what we need to do. So
You'll pay for it a third time then. Okay, I got you. Kyle, thank you. Have a good time while you're there.
Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
I hope you have a great day.
You too. Take care. That's fun to hear from folks like that. That's a long ways away.
Yes,
One of
he
our,
is.
one of our
isn't he?
listeners. He gets the best DX award for us today. DX meaning long distance, as in for ham radio guys. So anyway, now Mr. Wright is in the house.
Mr. Wright's in the
Ladies,
house.
listen up, Mr.
Good
Wright.
morning.
Here for you, for y'all. Peter Wright. Been over a month since we saw you,
Yeah, that's right.
and I just read something here for some notes from you.
Granddaddy.
He gonna be.
I am a granddaddy.
That's not what I'm reading. I don't
Granddaddy.
know what
Isn't
that
it?
means,
Yeah.
but you're going to be back in Walmart here in about 3 months.
Yes, that's right. Should be. I've got right of first refusal, and I
Well,
put my name down,
You're
so
not
I
going
should
to
have
refuse it,
it.
are you?
No, I've put my name down. So
Yay.
I just haven't officially heard yet that I've got it. But
All right. Well, Peter is he's a Medicare expert, and he's not one of those people that calls you on the telephone and claims to be. And when he calls you, he does the only accent that you're going to hear is his British accent. You're not going to hear some. That's what I get. Seriously, I'm getting more of those today than I even did during open enrollment.
yeah, I've had a few recently, so I'm beginning to. Yeah.
I got one of them on the air the other morning. Was that Medicare that called the other morning or something else? I forgot what it was. I took it while I was on the air, so
Yeah.
I guess I irritated them.
Yeah, the reason you're still getting them is because of the chronic plans that are available, and
The
so they
what?
can. The chronic plans for people if they've got heart disease or diabetes, and so they're still trying to swap people from the plan they're on to
How do they?
another
Why
plan.
would they call me? Are they just random calling everybody, assuming that you're old, you're on Medicare, maybe you've probably got some kind of because I have them ask me things about you've been in an accident in the last 2 years, right? Nope. None of your business either.
I think they're just randomly calling you like they are me, and they phone me and say, "Oh, your Coinbase account is," and how do they know if I have or have not got a Coinbase account? No one knows that. So
They're phishing.
so they're phishing, and you just got to be very aware all the time.
I'm going to tell you, I could have been the best scammer there is if I wanted to be, because I used to lie for a living. And I did. I practice on family. I used to make my daughter mad. But there are ways that do they go through training, specialized training, before they make all these phone calls? Because you know that they're in an area where there are 40 other people in that same room.
They're probably given scripts, and once you learn the script, then you start to make it your own script and go with it, something like that.
Really? Wow.
I would think.
How much do they pay? Maybe I could join them.
Yeah, I like the sheriff's department scam. That's my it's happened 3 times.
We can't hear you. You know that, right?
I like the
There's
sheriff's
the
department
microphone.
scam.
It's over there.
That's my
That
favorite.
happened. Yeah, that
Yeah,
happened to
3
me
times.
like 2 weeks ago.
You've had
Yeah.
You like the what?
The sheriff's department scams.
Sergeant so will call you from the sheriff's department. Said we got a warrant for you. You need to. We're going to hang up, and this other person's going to call you. And if you don't pay this fine, we're going to come get you.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't tell me what county I'm in. That's the third one. I said, well, I'm in Duplin County. And he said, well, yeah, that's the county. I said, wrong answer. Wrong answer. And so I called our sheriff. He did not have a sergeant so-and-so. And he said, it's a scam. Don't worry about it. I said, but it's happened to me 3 times in a year.
Well, the
Yeah.
most recent
Wow.
one has used a deputy that they do have.
Mm-hmm.
I just happen to know him, and his wife was on my dance team years ago. So I'm like, dudes, come
Well,
on.
the thing
now.
about it is,
Yeah.
they're not going to call you. They're going to come for you.
That's right.
If they
Come
have the
on.
warrant.
I will
I
tell
could
you
use
for
a
a
vacation.
fact, there's only a very few times that you'll get a call from a police officer say, we've got a warrant for you down here.
Correct.
Almost never. What they will say, especially for druggies,
Mhm.
when they're hard to find, hey, you have won some money.
I can't
Yeah.
believe people fall for that, but they do.
We would do a sting.
Mhm.
I mean, that was kind of standard. We'd do a sting. Or we have found some of your stuff here, and we've got some property here we think is yours that you might want to come down here and pick it up. When you come in one door, you take it through into another room.
Well, the last
Say,
time,
hey, join the rest of these idiots out here that fell for that.
I got a call from the sheriff, supposedly from the sheriff's office like that, I just told him, okay, I'll meet you in the driveway. They never showed up. So
Well, Peter, what are these scammers for Medicare, like roughly in June? What are they scamming? Like, what are the people?
Well, what they're doing is they're saying, look, there's a really good plan you should be in. It's got these benefits, and they don't go over the benefits that the person's already got. So they get interested in the benefits that are available, not really, but it's a lesser plan than what they've got. And so they change. And then if I catch it, and the only month I haven't caught it was June, because I was so busy with the new grandchild and
course.
moving into
Yay.
my son's
understand.
moving into a house and so on. So I think it's been about 20 people now that have been moved to that plan, and I then phoned them up, and all but one of them has
20 of
wanted-
your people.
yeah, and all but one of them, it's big numbers, and all but one of them has moved back again. Yeah, they've said, no, I don't want to do that. Or, because I can talk to them before it happens, before the end of each month.
Yeah.
But if I wait till the next month, I'm legally not allowed to phone them and say, hey, are you sure you wanted to change? So
But you get alerted that they have
I-
changed over, right?
no, what happens is if I look,
Okay.
and I worked out a way to find out how to look, because most agents don't know how to do that, but I found out how to do it. You have to download your book of business and then search on the month that you're currently in and see if anybody's scheduled to change. And if they are, then I phone them up and say, are you sure you want to make this change? And go over the benefits of what they've got. Because we sat down in last year in annual enrollment period and looked at all the plans, of which the chronic plan was one of them. So it's unlikely that people will really want to change from what they've got to a different plan.
Well, it's interesting in my case because I'm insured. I am an idiot. when it comes to insurance. Always have been. It was always decided for me because I always worked for the man, right? Somebody, and they always provided insurance. You had no choices. That's the way it was. There were always good insurance plans. Didn't have any gripe about it, and I wasn't sick enough to have any need for it. So really was neither here nor there. Then you get older, and then you get onto this Medicare thing, and then you got to, okay, well, the government's, that's the man. As far as I was concerned, the man has told me that this is it, and this is what you get, and yep, here's my card. Done. But then the older you get, the more and more and more and more stuff and people and doctors and crap like that you got to see, the more medicine that you end up taking if you're unlucky or if you're typical. I'm not going to call it unlucky, call it typical. Lee over there, she's not normal. She doesn't do much, medically speaking. So and then all of a sudden, I had to start thinking about it. Well, okay, this is just the way they said it was going to be. But then along comes Peter Wright. Then I started listening.
Mr. Wright.
Took 2 years, but I did listen. I'm a slow learner. And about the time I started making like, whoa, comparison, now I get to go. I got my own personal swimming pools. I've got a gym that I can go work out in. It doesn't cost me anything extra. I got medicine that I get. They used to cost me a big copay every month, not huge, but a significant copay. A couple of tanks of gasoline every quarter anyway. I don't have to pay very little, if any, now most times. My copay to go see my regular medical type person that just to check me out every quarter, nothing, honey. I don't have to pay that $20. For specialists, it's been reduced down by another $10 that I have to pay for a specialist for the few times I have to see them. So, I've got benefits there. Then I get to have $84 every quarter for stuff at the drugstore that insurance doesn't pay for, like Band-Aids, Nexium, if I want it, I need it, do I get it? I got stuff that they pay for with a credit card that's extra above and beyond.
Yep.
And then there's some other benefits that I don't even remember what all of them are.
You could have someone come and clean your house or prepare food for you, things like
God,
that.
I wish I'd thought about that last week. My wife was gone. They could have cleaned the house and fixed some food.
Yeah.
Darn. They can still do it though, right?
Yeah. You've got 60 hours of that in a year.
Is it cumulative?
So you can use it. So I tried it out for 5 months. I had someone come to my home once every 2 weeks for 2 hours and for 3 hours to clean it. They clean the fridge, the kitchen, the floors, the bathroom, the toilet. Clean. Yeah, and once you've got it, because we keep it away. But once you've got it, but yes, you can do. 3 hours. That's a long time to do cleaning like that. It gives you.
There's 3 bathrooms, and all of the other stuff around here. Will they do the outbuildings that I've got out here, the garages and stuff too? I need it straightened up. No, there are all sorts of benefits to some of these plans, but you don't know it unless you ask.
Yeah, you can get an emergency button to wear around your neck if you.
Who's it going to call?
Ghostbusters.
That's what I need. I
was thinking the same.
Rat Patrol. In my case, Rat Patrol. That's before y'all time. Lee might remember that program, but anyway. So there are all sorts of things that I did not know.
Yeah.
And I'm old and I did not know.
I still don't. I'm more confused now than I've ever been.
You did,
Until 2 weeks
there's a
ago.
microphone over here. It's called a microphone for a reason. You talk into it.
Coming up on the age of 65. I will be in December. So you get all these letters, and I was even the last letter I got. You need to sign up since you're December the 1st. Sign up August the 1st. And I said, okay.
If you're what day is your birthday?
December 1st.
December the 1st. So you actually you can sign up in November. So having to go back October, September. Yeah, probably August.
That's why.
Because December the 1st, it's classed as being November for some strange reason.
Yeah,
so then you got to put 3 months before that. Yeah.
And I got so confused. So I called Medicare.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah.
Could you
And I had a
imagine?
nice lady come on the phone.
Yeah.
Her name was Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I'm not going to quit work my wife has Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal
Mhm.
that we pay for. She's retired now, but it's going to be 4 years before she can sign up for Medicare.
Mhm.
So she's considerably younger than I am. So I asked her, I said, what should I do? I don't want to be penalized. I don't want to, but I've heard so much. And this is what and that's why I'm so glad you're here.
So
She told me,
he needs to sit down and have a long chat with
Yeah.
you,
Yes.
and what she told me,
and he's stubborn.
that sign up for A
Mhm.
in August. She don't sign up for anything else.
Mhm.
As long as you have the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal, because we have all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
She said, when you stop work, when you finally retire, you have 8 months to sign up for the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I said, is that a, and she said, because I said, I don't want to be penalized. So
Mhm.
that's what's bothered me is, you always talk about getting penalized.
Yeah.
Penalized. I don't want to be penalized. So
Mhm.
I'm so glad when they said you were going to be here. I said, yes.
So
I want
but
to
anyway, you guys do need, he needs to sit down with you because we chatted the last time. He needs
Yeah.
to sit down with you and
Yeah.
go through all of what his options are.
Because the thing you want to do is compare the benefits that you're going to get if you stay as you are to what you can get with a plan now, and then see
And
which
what-
is better for you to
And see
do.
what your needs are too.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
You may
Yeah.
not have any needs.
But
Yeah.
that's what she was talking about. So when I said Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal, she just, I imagine her eyes lit up because it is totally different. Because they told my wife, and I told her, you better check that. She said, when she turned 65, you go for plan A and don't ever go for anything else. I said, well, honey, you might better check that because presidents can stop anything at any time.
Mm,
But yeah, that was me because I plan to work at least till I'm 67.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and I may work longer than that,
Mhm.
but that's what I was. Is that sound right? I mean, it was from the Medicare office. It was.
Yeah, it sounds right, but what I would say is I would compare what your costs against and your benefits are with the Blue Cross Federal compared to what you
Something else.
yeah, just so that because you just want to make sure you're not paying through the nose
Right.
for that during it.
Well, we
those
are
2
for.
years.
I mean, we're paying for everything we get
Yeah.
a month, and sounds kind of high. We're paying about $500 something a month between the two of us, and that is for the health insurance. I mean, Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal, GHA, vision, cancer, and there's a whole list that she's got. And I said, and I asked Lisa, what's going to happen when I do sign up for another plan later on? She said, well, if you keep your Blue Cross, it will be your secondary. She said, and then, and this is what she said, because you came to mind, then you may, when she turns 65, then y'all may want to sit down and look at other plans because of the simple fact your Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal may not go down. And if it would be your supplement plan, you may get up somebody and find a better plan. And that's just what she said.
Mr. Somebody is over
Yeah,
here.
you're right.
Mr.
Yeah.
Right is
That's
over
when
here.
you told
Mr.
me,
Right.
so he's going to start back in October. I said, God, that's a little bit late for me. But it ain't now. Because of.
No, it's and I can
We've
see
got
you
his
before
number.
then
We'll
anyway.
give you his
Yeah.
number, and you
Yeah.
need to have a.
But
a
no,
sit down.
I'm not
Give us
going to sit down.
cards.
I'm going to go to Walmart and sit down with you. And we're going to see.
I wouldn't wait till then.
Well, that's when he's going to be there. But I'm going to go ahead and sign up
He
for
will-
A right now.
He won't be there for a while. When does it start back?
October.
October?
October.
October.
So you need to, but he does this
Yeah.
out of his, hey, he'll come to your house
Yeah. Okay.
or whatever. Might be good to sit down with, say, Diane.
He'll
or
meet
say
you in
Diane.
the car park.
In the car
In the
park.
car
In the car park.
Parking lot.
Yes.
But no,
At
I
McDonald's.
have listened to you ever since you've come on, been on the show, and I've listened. And I'm short-minded. I'm country. I'm so country. I'm kidding myself. So I forget some things you say, and some, but it's been a key. That was my real big question, and like I say, Medicare answered it for me. But and I told her, like I told my wife, when it comes time, we probably need a better plan because Blue Cross and Blue Shield, when she becomes where it'll be secondary for her, it goes down. supposedly goes there.
Yeah.
But I said, well, we can, because I've talked to other individuals and they have Aetna and they have this and they have that, and their insurance is cheaper. It was what they used to have, and some of them have even gone to you. Because I tell them,
And some of that changes too.
Yeah, and it changes
Yeah.
from year to year,
From
and
year to
that was my
Yeah.
concern.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm
Okay,
so
so
I'm
we
listening
got
to
a
you
plan,
now.
we got a plan for Timmy. Now,
Yeah.
a question came up for me over the weekend, not for me, but for someone I know. They're retired military,
Yep.
husband is. And they've got that TRICARE for life
Yep.
for them. And they got Medicare, but they don't have any other plans to go with the Medicare. And that, according to the way the wife says, I can't see any of the reason that we should sign on to get anything else. I said, if it doesn't cost anything, well, we don't really need any of that. Is there anything for TRICARE? Because we know we have a lot of retirees here with TRICARE for life, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about those folks? Is there a reason to sign up for anything other than the Medicare that they have to sign up for?
Well, I'd say, yeah, it's up to them, but I've got about 100 or so people with TRICARE or VA that have signed up onto plans because they can get extra benefits at no cost to them. So you can get money back on your Social Security each month, somewhere, but depending on the plan you take, maybe $50, maybe $75, maybe $160 a month. That's a fair bit that you get. And then there's dental plans and there's a gym membership. So those are the.
There are some that are going to argue that, well, I live near a base and I can go to the gym and I can go to the swimming pools anytime I want to. I don't need to go to a private club or to a private group.
It depends on the person, but certainly the money back. A lot of people look for that.
The flex card on
It's
prescriptions.
not a flex card. You don't. Yeah, sorry, with TRICARE in this county, there's no flex cards.
with TRICARE.
with TRICARE on those plans. Yeah.
Okay.
There's basically money back on your Social Security check. There's dental, vision, and hearing benefits.
Mhm.
And there used to be transportation. There isn't at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are some reasons for them to come see you anyway, have a chat.
Mhm.
If
Yes.
nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come armed with all of your information and that's going to be the key thing when you do sit down with Peter. It's time to start talking about it again. Come prepared with
Mm-hmm.
your prescriptions that you have, the doctors that you use, even if they're medical doctors now. How about any doctors that you would like to be able to use that TRICARE may not let you go see?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There may be some. You may have to use certain doctors. You're going to have to use certain doctors in
No,
most
TRICARE,
plans.
you can see anybody that's
in
on Medicare, that's licensed for
anybody.
Medicare.
Okay.
Any doctor that's licensed with Medicare. So most people should, well, not most. Some people want to go, don't want to diminish that, so they want to have a PPO plan, so they can still see any doctor that's got Medicare.
Sure.
But some people, and you're right, actually, you can go on a plan if you've got TRICARE and you're not going to travel out of North Carolina. Then you could take a Blue Cross plan, because so in which case you would get the same sort of benefits that you're currently
Mhm.
getting.
So there may be
So,
some reasons
yeah.
for these folks to come
Yeah.
see you. There are some reasons for these folks to come see you. The ones that I know, and even though they're in Georgia County, but it's a Craven
Yeah.
County thing.
No, very much so, because as I said, I got somewhere around 100 veterans already on my books.
Mhm.
So it really does work well for them.
Okay.
And unfortunately, in other counties, there's even more benefits. You get a $2,000 dental plan.
Mhm.
You get $150 back on your Social Security check.
Uh-huh.
At the same, there's more benefits.
So that's pretty important.
Yeah.
I mean, if y'all don't want it, if you just sign to the back of the check or just have a direct payment coming out of your account every month, go into mine, I'll give you my account number, you can make a direct deposit. If I could get about a dozen of you who don't want it, you just want to give it up, give it to me. I'll take it. Be happy to.
Well, I've been signing couples up for one of the plans in Durham County, and if you sign up for $150 back, that's $1,800 a year.
Yeah.
And if that's a couple, that's $3,600. Plus, they've got $2,000 dental plan each. I mean, it's a lot of benefits, and you're not paying. You're not paying for it.
Okay. Well, my doctors and my dentist, they like the plan that I'm on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they don't have to. I don't have to nitpick with them so much. So that's a good thing.
I had a guy in Dobson. He had a booth up at the festival. Had Medicare.
Yeah.
And he stopped me because I'm old. We were talking and this and that. The other. They kept saying, "Yeah, you need to let me help you sign you up." I says, "No." I said, "I have something you don't have." He said, "What's that?" I said, "I have a Peter Wright." I said, "I'll talk to him."
I bet I'm not doing it.
I know you would. Yeah, but you thought about it.
I almost did one day on the air.
I told him about
Mr. Wright. You got Mr. Wright.
And Mr. Wright.
But I told him, I said, there's a guy back at home, and I said, yeah, he helps people that probably does some of the same thing you do. And he just, well, I can really help you. I said, look, man, I'm 4 hours away. We don't need to do this. So I was trying to get away from it. God almighty, he was pushy. But I said, no, we have a Peter Wright that helps everybody. And I said, I'll see him.
I've got Peter Wright and a pickaxe handle. What else do you need to know? It's as simple as that sometimes.
But no, I enjoy it when you come on the show. I mean, I listen, and I watch. Sometimes I'm being simple-minded. Mm-hmm. I get confused at this and that and the other about all these extra plans.
Took me 2 years.
Yeah.
So don't wait that long.
Oh, I'm on.
Well, I told you when I first met him, and I passed by him first, so I thought I don't want to talk to anybody about stuff like this because I don't have the patience for it.
I don't either.
But then I turned around and I said, he would make a good guest on the show.
Absolutely.
And as we're talking, he's asking me about mine. Yeah. And before I left, he had signed me up, saved me $100 a month, and I got more out of what I'm getting.
You're on a government plan, too.
Yeah, I'm on the federal plan, too. So from then, I was a believer. But I just want to say that, Peter, you have helped a lot of people. And we had a Facebook viewer this morning, Robert, that's commented on it that you have done so much to help him and his family.
Okay.
So thank you.
There's an testament right there.
Right.
Final question here. We don't know what things are. You don't know yet. How soon will you know what the living conditions for us are going to be after this year?
We'll start getting an idea about it in probably September or end of August, September. Okay. But I'm not allowed to talk about it until the 1st of October.
Of course.
Okay. And some plans, even last year, there was one of the companies we didn't even get
slide it under the table.
We didn't even get the details for one company until 1st of October. Sure. So it just
okay.
We'll just have to see.
Okay, so that's less than 3 months away. So folks, stay tuned. So we'll tell you that right now. And for those of you who are turning 65, who have already turned 65, you already know that you've been signed up because you're there. Mm-hmm. But there will be choices that you will be able to make. Mm-hmm. I strongly recommend you don't make those choices without some guidance.
Totally agree.
If you really need guidance, Peter, if whatever is available for, like Blue Cross Blue Shield, it might not be the best plan for you. He can guide you in whatever direction you need to go. That's the thing about having somebody who's legally able to do that for other companies, for a bunch of different people. So I don't know. I was pleased with the one I ended up with. Still am. So unless they change it, I'll be happy.
Super. Okay. Well,
Peter, we will see you in a month.
Thank you so much.
That will be August. Can you believe that?
It's shooting by. Yeah.
Go enjoy that new grandbaby.
Yeah. What do you have? A boy, a girl, or something else?
A girl.
Oh boy.
And the name is I've got to get this right. Ashby Angeli Wright.
What?
Because it's
Ashley?
Aashvi. It's an Indian
Ashley.
name. Ashvi.
Ashley.
Not a Lee, it's a V.
Ashby.
Ashvi.
Ashby. Oh, my.
Angeli.
Yeah, it's taken me many years to learn how to
I'll
say
never get
my
that.
real name. So.
I'll never get that
I
right.
still haven't got it yet. And I've
Going to call her
known
AA.
it for 3.
Call her AA. Hey.
You'll get a nickname.
Oh, yes.
Aardvark was what I was thinking.
Oh, that is,
Oh, that would be awful.
yeah.
What is she going to call you? Sir?
Grandpa.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
there
As long
you
as you got it
go.
down pat, you
Yeah.
know what it is.
Yeah.
Now, my strong suggestion is to start educating said child with your name. Get her attention. Grandpa. Wait, when the parents are not around. Grandpa. Point at yourself. Grandpa. And do that multiple times a day. Every time you see her, first word out of her mouth is going to be Grandpa.
And then you're going to be in big trouble.
First. What?
Happened to me. How come she called you grandma before she called us mama, daddy?
Yep.
Because her and
She
I.
Yeah, it happened at my house. I mean, the baby, the lady, she said, one day, Diane was holding her. I walked in the room. She went, Papa.
Uh-huh.
And they looked.
Mm-mm.
And I said, she knows me. She knows she's going. I sat down and had my little drink. She
Yep.
knew she was going to have some. And
She's just
She
going to
went-
get anything she
she's
wanted.
doing like, oh, yeah, she is. I mean, the middle one, she just as soon as we come in, the Doritos Ranch comes out. She said, Papa, chips. We're going to have some chips. Yep.
Right.
She'll sit right there side of me. We'll have some, are these Emmy chips? I said, they're Emmy and Pepper chips. And I argue with her. And I sit there and argue with her, and they just look at me. And she'll
Nothing
listen
like
to
it.
me more she will than anybody else. And
Nothing
that
like it is
gets
about-
on them too. Because
Nothing
I
like
call her,
Very
if I
nice.
get ill at her, I call her Emma Jane.
Uh-oh.
And that is not her name. But now when she looks up, don't you do that. And she won't.
Well, right before we start weather, because I know that we're late on that, I just wanted to put a PSA out that there is a car collision on Burger Highway near Also Pines Road, and it may cause delays. It's being worked on right now. And if you download the new Sheriff's Office app, you will get instant messages telling you this. So, and I
if
put
you
it
don't
on
know
our
how to
page.
do that, call Lee. She'll help you walk your way
It's
through it.
so
right through it.
easy.
It is.
It is easy.
I
She'll
can
walk
do
you right
it.
through it. I had no problem. I got it done the first time.
He knew exactly. I mean, I was just like, go, hit this, hit that. No, hit that. But yeah, it's very easy. He could have done it. I have no doubt. It's very easy to do.
I'm learning that I can do a little bit more with computers. And
Nice.
my
You have any
boss-
idea how many of those AAPS, and that's the nicest thing I will
Yes.
call it, that I have downloaded and uninstalled?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Me
Oh,
too.
you too? Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Uninstall. Oh, Lord, that's taking forever. Why did I put that on there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
even
that's
know what
what
it
it
is.
is.
Same way, yeah.
Don't have
Same
a
way,
clue.
Ray.
Yeah, it's you don't use those programs, uninstall them, and then do a reset and get them off your computer, off your phone, because it'll make it run a lot better.
It will.
Mhm.
I mean, this is the only
phone
computer
doesn't
I
run.
have. Besides, I got an
Well,
iPad that
it's
I
too
work
old to
with.
run.
I have a message for you too. This is
The
from our
answer is
favorite
no.
Thursday person. Wants to
Uh-oh.
know, ask Rafer, why did he work for the man when we all know that he is the man?
Ooh.
Oh,
Well, depends how you define the band. I mean,
Here
I
we
had
go.
a whole lot of people
man.
on the streets walk up and say, "Hey, there's the band, run."
Yeah.
maybe it's time for weather.
He knows about that one too. Peter, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I want that one.
Oh, yeah, you need that
Thank
one.
you.
Yes, I was going to give you
Yes.
one before you left him. We have
But I
some here.
appreciate you. I really do. And
There's
I
a
do
couple
listen.
more. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spread them
I
around.
need 'em.
St. Diane's gonna need one because
Yeah.
you're gonna lose yours.
Do you want
Right
to
now.
give me your contact info, or
There you go.
do you want me to?
Yeah, I'll give you my phone number.
Go ahead, write it down.
Well, while they're
Right.
doing all that, let's
we're
go
gonna,
to
we're
it.
gonna do a little bit of weather.
Yeah.
Weather we all, any of us like it or not, we're gonna do some weather. Offshore today out to 20 nautical miles, southwesterly winds about 15 knots, east 3 to 4 feet every 5 seconds. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. The Wednesday, southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, east 3 to 4, sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Friday, southwesterly winds 15 to 20, seas 4 to 5 feet, sounds and rivers choppy. Increasing chance of showers as the week goes by, possibly a thunder boomer out there. It's got a little bit cloudy right now, but the wind has not started to blow. I don't know if it's going to happen
Winds look
today.
calm. Yeah.
Yep.
Today,
I'm looking at the leaves. The wind's not blowing.
yeah, yeah. And do you ever notice that when, rain's in the area, the leaves turn up?
Of course.
Today, we have a chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny with a high near 91, south winds 7 to 14 miles per hour. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy with a low of 74. Thursday, showers and thunderstorms are likely, partly sunny with a high near 88. And Friday, an increased chance of showers and thunderstorms, high near 88.
Okay.
Good.
As far as being demand, was I demand? I was demand. No, I wasn't demand. I had a lot of people working for me, but the paycheck came from the big man. It came from the companies, Somebody else signed my paycheck on the front. I signed it on the back. I control myself in a lot of situations, but most of those were when I was self-employed doing photographic work. That
Right.
I was signed my own check. So front and back.
Right.
That was the way that worked. So anyway, those pictures of yesteryear, the ones when you really didn't care who saw you doing stupid stuff, perhaps things that made you popular with your crowd, like protesting against the police, because it seemed like it would be a cool thing to do at the time. Then years later, when you grow up, straighten up, then go after a really good job with a government organization, this one or that one. Perhaps you would like to become the mayor of the city where you live.
Ooh.
And then someone who saved that picture, that one that you thought was cool way back when, puts it out there on social media for the world to see and then identifies you. Well, what then? That's what the big mouth guy who wants to be the next mayor of New York City should be asking himself today after a picture of him flipping off a statue of Christopher Columbus in Astoria, New York, popped up. Zoran Mamdani proudly ran the picture on his own Facebook page as late as 2020 with multiple anti-Italian and anti-Columbus comments. He was leading a charge to remove the statue. Didn't like it. Sounds like something in the South, doesn't it? In a post about the same time, Danny asked his followers in a poll who should be honored instead of Columbus, with choices that included Tony Bennett. This is what he put down there. Would you rather see Tony Bennett, who was actually, we know who Bennett is. He was from this town, Astoria. Walter Audicio, he was a communist partisan who killed Mussolini, or a pair of people here, Sacco and Vanzetti.
Sounds like he's been drinking too much of that Sacco and Vanzetti.
Sacco and Vanzetti.
And people will vote for him.
Well, they are.
Okay.
Here's the thing. The winner of that poll was Sacco and Vanzetti. Let me explain to you who Sacco and Vanzetti were. They were two Italian anarchists convicted of armed robbery and of killing a guard. Both were executed, even though the Italian dictator at the time, Mussolini, along with a bunch of others, screamed that it was an anti-Italian movement that persuaded the jury to put a cap on the claims that they were innocent. A pistol taken from one of the men. People protested this and said they weren't guilty. You executed the wrong people. They were innocent. There was no evidence. They had evidence from the ballistics back in 1927 when this happened. Okay. However, just with that, they retested the pistol. They still had it in evidence, right? And they retested the pistol and the bullet taken from the guard back in 1961, 35 years after the crimes. And guess what? It was again proven that it was the gun used to kill the guard. But Bandani continued to demand that the Columbus statue come down and statues of the executed thugs replace it. Italians far and wide have not had good things to say about Mamdani. They are saying that he's anti-Italian. You're in New York. How big is that's like, and if you want to really get mad, go against the Catholic Italians. Oh, Lord of mercy.
goodness.
There are, I mean, New York is heavily Italian in itself, right?
Yeah, my father and his side of the family's from New York, and they have a lot of Italian in them.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, back when the
Crazy.
immigrants were coming into the area, they settled a lot of in New York,
Right.
and a lot of them came from Sicily, and we know about that group too. But the Italians are proud people, and to have them say, we need to take down that statue of Christopher Columbus. All he did was sail a boat.
But it's our history. It is our history. Whether you like Christopher Columbus or not, he is part of our history. And for this fool to come into our United States of America
He is what
and want to delete our history.
Kelly refers to as the biggest boob there is in
Yeah,
New York.
he's a boob.
What in the world is wrong with him?
And you know what? People like that will get voted in. What is wrong with you, New Yorkers?
Look at AOC. Can you
Yeah,
see?
that's the other one.
There's a few others in the squad there.
I don't know if has she jumped on his Mandani train.
She's been really quiet lately. I
Well,
don't
she's
know
been
what's up
blasted
with
a lot.
her.
She's been catching a lot of
Yeah,
rain.
well, she's probably getting ready to announce
Yeah,
something.
her and Adam Schiff. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Please.
I got one.
Yes.
Here's something that I might even join. It might even be the leader
Okay.
in a protest movement.
I'm going with you.
No doubt you remember the case of Laken Riley.
Yes.
To refresh your memory, she was the Georgia nursing student jogging near the campus of the University of Georgia in Athens when she was attacked and beaten to death with a rock. Left
Yes.
there. Her murderer was an illegal alien, Jose Ibarra, a member of the notorious TDA Venezuelan gang who had entered the United States illegally in 2022. He managed to avoid federal officers by seeking safety in sanctuary cities among people who felt sorry for him. Ended up in Georgia. Killed Ms. Riley. Her mother, Allison Phillips, had earlier said of Ibarra, "This monster took away our chances to see Laken graduate from nursing school. He took away our ability to meet our future son-in-law." Ibarra was found guilty, sentenced to spend the rest of his life in prison without the possibility of parole. Now what? An effort has begun to have him examined
Don't.
to determine if he was mentally able to assist with his own defense at the time of his trial. The same judge that sentenced him has ordered that he undergo psychological testing. If it turns out that it is determined that he was not mentally capable of understanding or assisting with his own defense, he could be freed, or he could be
Ridiculous.
ordered to undergo another trial. If a new trial is ordered, I really hope that a prosecutor will seek the death penalty. If a new trial is ordered and they go after the death penalty and he gets the death penalty,
Mhm.
boy, did he roll the wrong dice.
I tell you now, I watched that trial because it was streamed from beginning to end.
Like, I'm surprised.
I did not, in my opinion, watching him and his actions. Now he did not testify, but watching him and his actions, he appeared to be very, up on everything that was going on. He was communicating with his attorneys, and people are always looking for some reason to get something changed.
If this murdering scum is turned loose, it should be on a dirt road in rural Georgia in the middle of the night, all alone. That might give him a little bit of time, a very little bit of time to repent.
Take him right in the middle of the Okefenokee Swamp. Been
That's
in
all I
there.
can say.
And I
On a moonless night.
Yeah.
So you can't see the eyes of those critters that are out there going, oh.
Yeah, I thought about this a lot, and over with gangs, out of country gangs coming in here and doing that. I know you remember it, and I do too. We had the outlaw law.
Oh, absolutely. I love that law.
I did too. I mean, I was young, but I wish they would reenact.
Let me tell you about that outlaw.
Yeah, I
law.
know you.
Here's the deal. And this was up until at least the 1970s. I'm not sure when they repealed it. But there was a statute that if the governor was persuaded that the person, Timmy, had committed such heinous crimes and that him being on the run and on the loose, that we could not catch him, that he posed such a danger to the population of North Carolina.
All right, CEO, you better not have anything to say about Luke and Riley.
If the governor decided that these people convinced him, the law enforcement community convinced him that this guy being at large was a danger and a menace to society, then the governor could order him declared an outlaw. By declaring him an outlaw, that meant that Lee, Theo, or anybody else out there could shoot him on sight without any issues whatsoever. Do you know how many people were brought to their death with that statute? 0. Everyone that I can recall being, and I'm sure it happened well before my time, every person that was declared an outlaw drove to the nearest police officer and surrendered. They did not want to, they trusted the police more than they did a bunch of armed guys out there who were looking for them. Theo, good morning. How are you?
Hey, deplorables, what's going on?
Hey, dear. How are you?
All right. The last time I saw you guys voted for an insurrectionist. How bad is that? And a felon, 34-count felon. Now you're talking about somebody else?
I'm talking
Clean
about
up your own house.
Trump is
a lot of people.
Clean up your own house.
Trump was born in the United States. Was this guy running from the New
And
York
it's
mayor?
even
Was
worse
he
to
born
do
here?
that to what he did to America. That's even
I didn't
worse.
see him busting through the doors. He wasn't part of
you
that
didn't see
insurrection.
that. Insurrection means nothing to you. Pardoning all those 1,600 criminals means nothing to you? Okay.
What, the ones that Biden pardoned you're talking about?
Hey, Rayford.
Hey.
Rayford. did you see what's going on in California with the ICE and the National Guard? The Hunger Games are here, baby. Have you seen the movie The Hunger Games?
I have not.
You got to see the first one.
Yeah.
You'll get an idea what's going on. Go look at The Hunger Games.
Is it like a dog-eat-dog world out there?
Well, I will tell you, Rayford.
Listen, you won't need the police and the sheriff's department anymore. The ICE and the National Guard will do the job.
Good.
Don't worry about. And talking about National Guard, where was the National Guard in Texas?
They're there.
They're there. They've been out there helping.
You sure?
Positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Governor
haven't
said
heard
it from the
anything about
first day.
National Guard over there.
Governor said it from the first day, and I've seen videos of them.
I didn't
live
see any
videos.
National Guard out there.
Well, what you need to do is go to YouTube because they have live feeds from all around the world, and I have watched them.
MSNBC doesn't
Yes.
cover this stuff.
No, you don't go to news media. You go to YouTube and pick up some of those live feeds. They tell the truth.
I get a lot of the stuff from BBC, and they've got
Yes.
video of them.
Yeah.
BBC is excellent too.
Hey, listen, Republicans, isn't it enough that you keep bringing Peter Wright here to explain to you what the insurance you could have and the insurance you don't have? Where is universal health care? Why are you torturing the American people with your thoughts? Why is Project 2025 torturing the people with health care here? Why?
Project 2025
Would
does
you
not
rather us
control
not have
health
health
care.
care?
Yes, it does.
No, it does
Lee,
not.
nice try.
Would you rather us not have health care?
No, but we need universal. You said something nice before. TRICARE. What'd you say about TRICARE?
Well, I said that the military, retired military, that a lot of those folks have TRICARE for life. Yes.
Exactly. So why are you torturing us with all these companies here? Blue Cross and Aetna and Humana and all that BS. Why don't you put us all, okay, on universal health care like all the countries around this world have?
You don't even
Theo,
make sense.
do you know anybody
sense.
very well or any really close?
Listen, Rayford, you've been going through that for years. Long lines, no doctors. America has got a lot more doctors than anybody else. They have a lot more hospitals than anybody else. You wouldn't be going through all this. This is just your imagination.
Theo.
You know,
Okay?
Theo.
you have a great way of interrupting people so that they can't get a word in edgewise.
Theo, you got universal health care up in Canada, right? You got.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Why is it they got universal health care up there in Canada,
Do they like it?
No. And here's the
They
reason
do
why.
like it.
No, they don't. Because if they come up and they have to have an operation, it may be a year before they can get it. So what they do, and I know this for a fact, because I lived in Florida, they'll come down in the wintertime, and you got doctors and hospitals, they're open 24/7, and they're treating these people and paying cash because they can't get their treatment in Canada. England is the same way. They'll fly over here and bring cash because they can't get medical treatment. They may need a heart operation. Well, you can't get it be a year before.
You got to stand in line, got to wait.
So now,
Why do we have to go through that when we have a lot more hospitals than England does? Why do we have to do that? Why do we have
because
to
they
wait
come
for a
over
year?
here and they bring cash.
Come on.
Yes, they do.
Come on.
They do down there in Florida. You go right down there in Florida every winter.
Nice try.
No, it ain't.
Nice try.
It's a fact.
Stop busting our chops all
Why are
these
you in
years.
such a state of
and
denial,
giving us
Theo?
these insurance companies, these shysters, that you like paying all kinds of money, and because he's saving you $100 a month. Ooh, that's a big deal.
It is a big deal for
I'd
a
rather
retired
pay.
person.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. I'd rather pay insurance than I had property tax. You know, you got me, and income tax. I'd rather pay the insurance than I had property tax and income tax. But we've got to pay property tax and we've got to pay income tax.
Theo,
You got to pay these taxes. Hey, did you see what happened to Texas? They had no sirens.
Yeah,
Okay, no
we don't have any over
sirens.
here either.
Because
we
you
don't.
know why? Because the budget didn't allow it. Okay.
Theo, they've
that.
had a choice of putting sirens
Okay.
up there for decades. They don't
They
have
had
that
no
issue.
sirens
Yeah.
because the budget wouldn't allow it. It was too much money.
Well, we don't have
Okay.
sirens over here in North Carolina. We used to, but now we
Okay.
have something called technical stuff, and we don't have to have it.
Listen.
It comes right over your phone right now. I got it.
Listen.
If a storm
listen,
comes up near me, my phone goes off,
Tim,
and that's better than a siren.
So what do you
we're
think? Of
tired of you Republicans giving us this stupid insurance every year, and you always change us every year, and you have
Right.
to pay more and more and more, and all these lies you're talking about
Okay.
with universal health care. Get out of that, okay? Enough is enough.
Well, universal health care does
All right.
not work.
Have a good day.
All right.
Bye.
God, I'm
know,
such a bad person for being
First
a
of all,
Republican.
folks, and Theo, and I love Theo to death, okay?
Yes, we do.
He's my brother. I
But
can't-
hold on, y'all. But Theo is a lot like a lot of people that my grandmother used to talk to or talk about. My grandmother.
Mhm.
She said that Theo, if she was alive today, she would sit there and listen to Theo say, he would argue with a signpost. He would argue with a signpost that says, "Welcome to Wilmington or Jacksonville or to wherever."
Yep.
He would say, "No, you're not there." He would argue with them. He would argue with the signpost.
But he is great entertainment.
He argues with the facts. all the
I don't
time.
even try.
So I know there's no arguing, Theo. You're set in your ways. You're good. That's fine.
I just
I'm not
take my lumps.
I'm not going to try to convince you to change. I'm not going to tell you that with Medicare, you're going to get Medicare when you turn 65.
It's all your
Period.
fault.
You're going to get Medicare. You're going to get a card in the mail when you turn 65. Here, done. Now, you have the option, if you want to, of signing up for more stuff. Well, I signed up for more stuff, but it didn't cost me anything.
Same.
I signed up for more stuff. It didn't
Same.
cost me anything. So the insurance company that I've got right now, they will take it out of the Medicare instead of the Medicare folks having to do it all. This is somebody that private enterprise doing it better than the government's doing it.
Right.
That's the bottom line. It's the bottom line is the way I see it. I am perfectly happy with that. I'm not paying any more, but I am getting much better service than I was getting with
Rayford,
just Medicare.
I agree. I'm
Done.
getting an extra $100 back a month, and Theo, $100 is $100.
Yeah.
I'm getting more out of my insurance policy than I was before. I'm getting free stuff. Plus, I make no copay now when I go to the doctors. So,
That's it. Now, as
Thank you,
far
Peter.
as England, I don't know. I've never been to England. I
Not
never will
either.
go to England. It's not on my bucket list of places to go. I would get there and it'd be raining. and I don't want to be there when it's raining. I don't want to be anywhere when it's raining all the time. I could go to any other location on a vacation. I've been to a Dutch country when medical emergencies arose. Okay, not a problem. I had to pay for them.
Yeah.
There's no universal health care in a lot of places, Theo, not everywhere. And if if you happen to be traveling in those countries, good luck.
Yeah.
When this couple that I know was here from England, we were having issues. We were having discussions, not issues. We were having lots of discussions, and one of them came up healthcare, and he's a well-to-do man. He and his wife, they got money. She had a heart attack here. He said she would have died in England waiting for health care.
I'm talking about.
She would not have been given the treatment that she was given here that was not just stabilizing her with a heart attack immediately, where she was stabilized where she was at the time and then transferred over to Newbern for specialized care. He said she wouldn't have made it through the getting stable because getting there, you stand in line.
Mm-hmm. I got a friend of mine.
Those are the stories that I hear, Theo, from the people who live there, not from the people who are living here, who talk about it. I just give you firsthand, this is what they tell me. Are they lying to me? Maybe. No. But they could be, I guess. All right. Coming up tomorrow, we got the one, the only
time.
Chris will be in here in the morning, so we'll be chatting with him. First of all, I want to tell you about an airplane. I wish Kelly was not. I'm glad Kelly's not here.
Was that the one with the bomb?
A Delta Airlines Airbus A330 operating as Delta Flight number 127 was headed from Madrid, that's out yonder in Spain, to New York's John Kennedy. Sunday. Had to make an emergency landing just not long after it took off from Madrid at an airport on a small island in the Azores. That's a Portuguese group of islands there, a bunch of islands. A small airport on a small island. 282 passengers and 13 crew members on board. All of them had to get off the plane at the airport. The plane was having problems. They were a long ways from land, and they found this island, and they landed. They put her down there. Passengers and the crew were given accommodations overnight. They stayed in the hotels, provided meals. Delta paid for it. Passengers were placed on another plane the next day. It arrived in New York late that Monday. No problems. Maintenance technicians are in the midst of still working on that aircraft. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it might be my imagination when looking at the number of close calls for the airlines industry in recent times. Nope, it's not my imagination. There are more airline issues today than there have been in the past.
Yeah.
Airlines show a larger number than normal of incidents, they're calling them, not of wrecks, crashes, or anything else. These are incidents that are causing emergency landings, pieces of the airplane falling off as it's approaching Raleigh-Durham Airport, landing about a 6-foot piece of the flap. One of the flaps landed on a guy's driveway in the middle of the night. He didn't know it until the next morning. The people who were flying the plane and the people on the ground, they didn't know there was a problem until the plane was on the ground.
Well done, Delta.
I don't know if they're not being checked in advance as much as they used to be. I don't know what the maintenance area, do they fly longer? Are the planes having to stay in the air without being scrapped for longer periods of time because they're really expensive probably? And there's always the fight over the cost of flying. We're all complaining about that.
Let me ask you a question, Rayford. Sure. This was not a crash.
Nope.
This was nothing like that. It was an emergency landing. Will the FAA still investigate
I don't know.
Emergency landings?
I would hope so.
Somebody needs to pull some maintenance records.
If we in this country, we want to analyze everything, Mr. President and others, I mentioned it the other day, we need to make sure that we've got our transportation is as safe as it can be.
Yes.
We need to have oversight committees working on that.
Yes.
Not congressional.
We do,
I don't want
yes.
any damn politicians working
Oh,
on it.
they're congressional.
I want people who are professionals working on it.
Right.
We need to hire people to look at everyone, not just the FAA, not just it. We need to have people looking at planes, trains, automobiles, big trucks, boats, and ships.
Yeah.
We need to have people looking at every case. Is it pilot error? If there's a pilot error and that's a routine procedure, then we need to replace some pilots. Or we need to figure out what we can do to make pilots safer. Trucks,
Agree.
cars, the same way. Do we need to have stricter controls on automobiles? Well, first of all, I'm trying to figure out why a car is made that can actually leave the parking lot of any one of our car dealers out here, and they've got cars that can run 120 miles an hour when they leave the parking lot. I'm looking for a speed limit anywhere in this country that's 120 miles per hour. You travel the world, country. Have you seen one? We don't have an Autobahn here with an unlimited speed limit.
It's a good
Right.
point. It's a good point.
Why do we have weapons of mass destruction out there in the hands of 16-year-old kids? Why can't they be restricted? I drove a school bus. You drove a school bus.
They took
First of all, did you have a governor on that school bus?
yes, we did.
Yeah,
Yes.
32 to 35.
35 miles an hour was the maximum speed a school bus could run legally.
Legal.
If you bypassed it or did something stupid, as we did have once or twice in the year and a half I drove, some good old boy who took auto mechanics, he went in and bypassed it and got caught, got nailed, got fired. Okay?
I know
those things happen.
DOT just took the speed limiter off trucks. They took it off the table because they want all the trucks to be speed limited at 65, all commercial vehicles. They took it off the table because they were finding out that, especially on these interstates, it's like a convoy. In some states, convoys were illegal, but you got one truck running 65 and one truck running 66, and he wants to get out and pass.
Yep. And
It'll take him an hour to get
Pretty
around him, and people talk about that, and so they took it off the table because you have so much. If you, especially 95, that's Eastern Seaboard Road, you have so many trucks running north and south.
Yep.
And trying to bring goods, and it just blocks the highway because they're supposed to be in the right hand lane, but somebody like me, I know how fast my truck will run. I have tried it just to see. I run about 6-7 miles over the posted speed limit, especially when I'm empty, and because I'm heavy empty. My truck weighs a whole lot more than a freight truck does because it's a heavy hauling truck. But it gets so distracting when you got these cars, these little four-wheelers running around there, and they'll get in the left-hand lane and run 60 mile an hour in a 70 mile an hour freeway, and they're sitting there, and they're sitting there, and they're sitting there, and it's just as bad on these trucks because what we say, the old-timers like me say, these schoolboys, these steering wheel holders, evidently when they went to school, they were taught to get in the left-hand lane. Now, in some states, it's illegal. Yeah, they lean into it. In some states, it's illegal. Georgia's one of them. Georgia is one of them. In fact, when you pull down 95,
if you can't maintain a minimum speed in the left lane, then you better move over, you get off the road, or you get a ticket.
You'll see the sign, especially in Georgia. I-95 is multi-lane. Now, you can only use the right lane and the middle lane if you're a commercial vehicle. Anything over 6 wheels, that's what it says. And people will get right in there. And I thought, why don't they get in the left-hand lane and go? Why can't these cars get in the left-hand lane and go? And the other part is they're looking at their GPS, and they get within a mile or get off. They're over here in the far left lane if they are. And then all of a sudden they dart across 3 lanes and get off the exit. I mean, pay attention. But I run 6-7 miles over the speed limit especially if I'm empty, because I'm ready to get back home. Now, I get paid by the hour, and I tell people, if a truck driver is getting paid by the hour and he gets a speeding ticket, they'll put his ass in jail. He's getting paid by the, and that is one of the biggest problems in the trucking industry today, and we have said that Instead of getting paid by the mile, why don't you pay them by the hour, and they'll slow down. And they will. We preached that for about 30 years. Pay them by the hour.
I understand.
But they don't do it. They're going to pay you by the mile. So
Uh-huh.
you try your best
So
to
that make
maintain
sure
a
you're not gonna
60
be-
mile an
Yeah.
hour average on the interstate.
Yeah.
And some companies tell you have to maintain at least a 45 mile an hour average if you want to keep your job.
Average.
And that's hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That is very
I'll
hard.
tell you what,
to do.
I've tried to drive and maintain 60 mile an hour average on a 70 mile an hour highway over a long way. You really got to be pushing it.
Yeah.
And you better hope there's not. And the problem is you're going to have that idiot that's going to get there in front of you
Every
that's
time.
running 55 miles an hour in a 70 mile zone.
Yeah.
And then then you got to try to get over, and 40 people behind you have already moved over.
You don't turn the signal light on, 6 people will go and get in the left hand lane, and now I can't go.
Mm-hmm.
I have to wait.
Anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Timmy, thank you for being here.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Work right now.
Something we didn't get to, we can discuss it tomorrow, but the FBI review finds that Jeffrey Epstein's client list, there is no client
I
list.
talked about that yesterday.
Yeah. Did you?
You weren't here. You weren't listening.
Oh, we did talk about it, but this is something that just came out right now.
No. They said that there's no list. They claim there is no list.
Right.
They said that yesterday. I got it from a
All
different
right.
source, though.
I
Now the media's got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard
Wonder
that
whose
too.
name was actually on that list that they have now has made the incinerator.
Yeah.
Along with the hard drives.
Exactly.
Remember me telling you that all those hard drives were about 12,000 feet underwater?
yeah, I remember talking about that, but I was just
That's
saying,
that's
like,
where all the lists are.
no evidence. Yeah, there's evidence. It's in a locker. Like you said, in an
It's not,
incinerator.
it's not anywhere now. It's gone.
Right.
They've had 2 years to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
under,
never
and
know.
under Comey and company, they had a lot of people to protect. And of course, it's going to, it comes out during the president's term now. And so it's probably Trump's name was on that list. I'm not going to say it was or wasn't because I don't know.
Don't know.
Would I doubt it? I don't doubt anything if it involves politics.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Kill them all, let God sort out the innocent ones.
That's it.
Okay, sorry.
We call it ground checking.
There you go. We will see you guys tomorrow morning bright and early, and stand by for Chris Miller. He's going to come in here, and hopefully he's got some nice sarcastic comments tomorrow.
He's going to call in, yes.
Yes, what I mean.
Yes.
He's going to come in by electronic.
Yeah, I just don't want him to be listening think, oh my God, am I supposed to be there?
Yeah, he is supposed to be here. So, Chris, get your butt out of bed and come on.
Wait, soon
Be
we're
wearing
going to
your
have
pajamas.
him and Chris Marks and Mike McHugh in here. I'm working on putting that together. So,
And then one day I'm going to have,
and I'm just going to sit back.
one day I'm going to have the district attorney in here.
Yes.
Then, let's see who else I can get in here that might be interested. Jack Bright.
I know. I'd love
I'd
for
love to
him to
hear
come
Jack
spend the
Black.
morning with us.
We
That
could,
would
we
be
could
awesome.
we could have Jack and we could have Ernie Lee in here.
Talk about the days.
And yeah, Jack's lived a bunch of those days.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it'd be interesting. The shenanigans we could come up with.
That's that. I think something of him now. I think something of Jack.
Yeah,
I
I
have
love
this,
him.
and every county commissioner I've ever loved. I mean, I had a difference of opinion with him, and always will.
Nothing wrong with
But
that.
it's like I told it years ago about Walter B. Jones. Sometimes I disagree with him, but I voted for him because I know the greater good he did.
I
Yes.
disagree with myself every morning.
Oh yeah,
And we
I
have a-
disagree with you every
I
morning.
know you do. And we fight every day.
Just kidding.
But it's
just
okay.
kidding. But it's okay.
It's all right.
my wife don't agree with me on everything.
She'll still clean my Jeep out every day. No problem. No big deal.
What?
You're
Oh,
right,
that
a
is
local
mean.
real talk where we're always awake, never woke.
Oh,
We'll see you in the
God.
morning. Bye.
All right, bye, y'all.